everybody, I'm Rod Griffin from Zephyr. Hey, we're out here today with MG Mobile Wash in Southern California. You know, MG Mobile Wash is a premier metal polishing shop out here in the West Coast. They do a lot of polishing for the heavy-duty truck industry, including aluminum wheels, fuel tanks, and big tankers like you see right here. You know, at Zephyr, we get a lot of inquiries on how to polish aluminum the correct way, how to take something as dull and ugly like this and bring it back to a beautiful mirror shine. You know, we have a full line of products from all the buffing wheels, the bar rouge compounds, and of course the Pro 40 Perfection metal polish that you're going to need to get that job done correctly. In this video, we're going to show you the different steps you're going to need to bring this dull aluminum back to a beautiful mirror shine. So let's watch these guys as they take us through the steps. We're going to start out with an orange Ruffy clear dip. You can see it's a 10-inch wheel. We're using this with the 87 stainless bar rouge. That's a very heavy cutting combination. The 87 stainless has 320 grit emery in it for a very heavy cut. You want to go back and forth with an overlapping motion. Okay, after a few passes, you want to rake the edge of that wheel. You want to clean off any excess rouge or built up rouge that might mar the finish. Now a lot of times, you may want to put tape over any decals that are on the tank to protect them. But in this case, we're going to be replacing that decal on the rear of the trailer. So we're not going to worry about it today. You always want to make sure you have proper safety gear. That would include a face mask, goggles, and some type of a respirator. Also, you can see that they are using the safety flanges. You always want to wear or use safety flanges anytime you're operating any airway buffing wheels. An airway is a buffing wheel that has that steel center plate in the middle. Okay, we're just about done with the first cut and the heavy cutting. We're about ready to move into what's called primary cutting. Now there are some situations where you will not need this step. The aluminum is not in that bad of shape. You can start with primary cutting. Okay, we've just completed the heavy cutting stage. We're going to move into primary cutting. Okay, in between steps, what you want to do is spray the Pro 50 Eliminator on there. What it's going to do is clean any excess rouge off of that aluminum. It's going to open the pores of the aluminum to help facilitate the polishing process, make it easier. We're going to show you quickly. Aiden's going to put another wheel on here. We're going to go from that orange Ruffy clear dip to that 10-inch fast cut wheel from Zephyr. You leave the bottom safety flange on, put the top one on, put the nut on, and you're ready to roll. Okay, now you can see we're moved into It's called primary cutting. We've got a 10-inch fast cut wheel on the machine, and we're using the brown triply bar. A couple of things to remember when you're polishing. First, you want to watch the RPMs. You want to run those at the recommended not to exceed RPMs. On a 10-inch wheel, it's 3,200. You don't need to run it any faster than that to get the job done. He's running it right now at about 32. He's got a variable speed machine. The other things you want to watch are how much pressure you're applying to the aluminum. You want to let the wheel and the rouge do the work. You don't need to press real hard, but you don't want to have it too light on the surface as well. Okay, now we're going to move into secondary cutting. We've got a Hall Green 10-inch airway on there, and we're using the green chrome rouge. After you're done with primary cutting, you want to evaluate the aluminum surface you're polishing. Sometimes you can skip this stage and move into final finish. You can already see the shine coming out. Okay, now we moved into the final finish. We've got a white airway untreated. And we're going to use the slate bar rouge. That is out of the Platinum series. It's a higher end jeweler's rouge. And we're going to put a mirror shine on in this process. Okay, you can see that we've switched over to it's a 10-inch, 60-ply cotton buffing wheel. This is a fantastic finishing wheel. We have these in 10-inch and 8-inch. Once again, MG Mobile Wash, they prefer the 10-inch variety. You can see the shine really coming on this tanker. The slate bar rouge is a cut and color rouge. That means you can use it as a cutting bar with like a yellow airway, and you can finish with it as well with a cotton buffing wheel. And you can see that shine coming on there. In between the steps, remember to spray the Pro 50 Eliminator on there, let it sit a little bit, wipe it off, and move right into your next polishing step. When you're using the cotton buffing wheels, you don't have to be as cognizant of the RPMs like you do when you're using an airway buffing wheel. These, you can run them a little bit faster than the 32 or the 3,400 RPMs. You can run these up into the 4,000 range, but you still want to always be very careful, because these wheels, you can get them snagged on objects on this tank when you're doing fenders and steps. You have to make sure that you do have the proper safety gear on. Okay, you can see quite a contrast right now. The bottom half is just about complete, and you can see the side and the top of this tank. And you can see quite a bit of difference. Okay, now we've got an all flannel wheel. This is a wheel made by Zephyr. It's 40 plies of flannel. As you can see, it's a very loose buff. It's got 2 rows of stitching in it. So it's a very loosely sewn buff. And we're going to use the Blue Moon coloring rouge with this. We're going to put a very high luster shine that you're going to be able to look at yourself in the mirror when you're done here. He's running this flannel buff at about 2,200 RPMs. A lot of people think you need to run this at 6,000 or 8,000 RPMs to put a shine on here. And we're going to show you right now you don't need to do that. A lot of it's technique, the type of wheel you're using, and the type of compound. Okay, now for the final step. We're going to wipe on and wipe off Zephyr's Pro 40 Perfection metal polish. This is really going to put the mirror show quality shine on this truck. It's going to clean it, polish it, and protect and seal it for a longer period of time. Once you've done all this work, you want it to stay like this as long as possible. Pro 40's the perfect maintenance polish. Very easy to use. Wipe on, wipe off. The result is a metal mirror. Beautiful. Okay, once in a while, when you get a job like this, you're going to see some of these tankers or whatever aluminum you're polishing, they may have scratching, pitting, like you see right here on the side of this tanker. These are going to have to be sanded out, which can be done very easily. You need to watch some of the depth of the pitting and the scratching, because there's only so much that you can remove without compromising the integrity of the tank or the wheel or whatever it is that you're polishing. You have to be very careful. In this case, we can polish this out after sanding and make it look like it was never there, and make it look like a beautiful mirror shine. Okay, this is going to be your first step. If you've got deep scratches and pitting that needs to be removed prior to the polishing process, you need to get a sander and start with the least severe grit that you need to remove the pitting or scratches. In this case, we're starting out with a 320. We're going to move into a 600, and then we're going to finish out at 1,000 grit. And then we're going to start the polishing process. We're going to concentrate on just one area of these scratches to show you the process. Once again, you need to be cognizant of the fact that whatever you're sanding, you're removing aluminum. And you could compromise the integrity of a tank like this and or an aluminum wheel or a fuel tank. All right, I just finished with the 600 grit. We're moving into 1,000 grit right now, and we're gonna finish this out. And then we can start the polishing process. Okay, now we finished the sanding. We're gonna move into the heavy cutting stage. We're gonna use that orange roughly clear dip, the heavy cutting wheel. We're gonna use that with the 87 stainless bar rouge. Remember, it's got a 320 grit emery in it. This is gonna be your first step of the polishing process. Okay, now we're going into primary cut. We're back using that 10-inch fast cut airway buffing wheel with the brown Tripoli bar. A lot of people will use 600 as their last step as far as sanding. And all that'll do is just make it harder when you start the polishing process. Okay, you can see we moved in to the final finish stage. We skipped over secondary cutting. We're moving in with a 10-inch, it's a 60-ply cotton cloth. We're using this with the slate bar rouge as part of the Platinum series from